Well done. Woo indeed. Woo indeed. It's Friday. Hello, world. Hey, what is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Tell you what, before we jump in, a quick thank you to our friends over at Macy's for bringing a little bit of springtime to the Build stage. Right now, through April 7th, their annual flower show is taking place in New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. This year's cosmic-inspired theme is...
The Journey to Paradisios.
Yeah. Adam, thank you. I don't care if one person laughed. That was worth it to me. Thanks for the reverb. It is not to be missed. Head to Macys.com/flower show for more info. Don't pretend like you got something else to do this weekend, all right? It's going to rain. I checked the weather. You got to go check it out. It's a good time. Do that. See that, and then see this show I'm about to tell you about. Our next guests star in The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson Musical. I got a chance to see it last night. Let me tell you something. As they embark across the country for the next couple of months on their national tour, do yourself a favor. Head on over to lightningthiefmusical.com and get some tickets. I was grinning ear to ear the second the lights came up. It was so much fun. So come on, everybody. Put your half-blood hands together. Make some noise, because McCarrell's in the building, Kristin Stokes in here, and Jorrel Javier are here. How about that? You guys excited? I'm excited. Can't you tell? We'll bring them out in just a second. But first, I believe we got a quick look at the show. So let's go ahead. Let's run that clip.
Till then, I'll be back next summer. You'll see me again. I'll be back next summer. 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 I'll be back next summer.
All right, make them feel at home. Give me a ridiculous amount of noise, ladies and gentlemen. Jorrel Javier, Kristin Stokes, McCarrell, right here, right now. Oh, my goodness. I am so excited you three are here right now. Congratulations. As I was saying back there, and I will continue to say, this show, I had a ton of fun last night. You guys really knocked it out of the park. Congratulations. I'll hold for some more applause if you could. If I can get more applause, just a little more. I see your camp shirt right there in the front row. So there was a lot of that last night. I'm excited to talk to you about the whole thing, the tour that lies ahead, the journey that got you here to begin with. We're going to get into all of that just right now. How are you guys doing? How's life?
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to be back in New York. We've been on the road for about 3 months now. And so to bring the show back to where it all began has been like the best burst of energy ever.
Yeah, the excitement is real, and we're just like, oh my gosh, we're home. We had like a great homecoming last night with the audience, and it just is so, I mean, the whole story takes place here. You know, Percy's from New York, so it just feels like we're like, oh yeah, we're here. Yeah.
And for me, you know, it was my New York debut. I had never performed in New York before, so last night was kind of overwhelmingly unreal for me, yeah.
New York debut at the Beacon. For crying out loud.
Right?
NBD.
I was bawling during bows. I ran off stage and I was just like crying
We're
my
like,
eyes
look,
out.
girls,
Yeah.
a mess.
In general, that's a huge moment for you. I think for any performer, being at that particular theater in this city, like being at the Beacon, what was that like for all of you when you walked in?
And it's not really like a theater place. Like everything lining the walls. Like before I walk on stage, I'm like, hello, J-Lo. Hello, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Hello. Like it's not a theatrical place. So like it feels so awesome to go out there and like use those speakers to like blast our band through. It feels like such an accomplishment as a theater show to play like such a house like that.
Yeah, and it's just huge. It's like almost 3,000 seats, which we were like, oh, okay. And it's
tiers?
Yeah, and it's cool, like just how the theater looks. There's like all this like Grecian armor stuff along. It looks like we could just pull our weapons out from the proscenium and be like, oh, I wanted this sword. It
It
cool.
is pretty amazing. It is frozen in that 1920s, 1930s architecture,
Yeah.
and there is so much of that. It was just such a cool a cool venue to see your show, and yeah, the energy, the New York crowd, and just so many fans. I saw so many Camp Half-Blood shirts and so many people that came out last night. It was just such a great vibe and such a fun time. There was a lot of love in that room. So I'm excited for you. You've got a couple of shows left in New York, and then you embark on the big tour. What's the first stop coming out of New York?
Durham, North Carolina.
That's right. Yeah, Durham.
Then out west.
And then out and just head west, mirroring the
west.
narrative, art imitating life.
Exactly. It feels like we're going on a killer quest.
Yeah,
honestly.
this tour has definitely been a quest. I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where nothing really prepares you for life on the road, you know? And for me, I had just moved to the city. I got here September last year, and so I was in the city for literally like 2 months, and so I just stopped getting lost with the subway system. And now it's like, and I had never experienced, you know, such a loving audience like we had last night. So it's been, and you know, obviously my castmates are also lovely, and I love them a lot. So it's been really fun, yeah.
You know, we talk about the loving audience and the loving audience that awaits at every journey and stop, I'm sure. But this whole what's the word I'm looking for? The Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. There is a very dedicated fan base out there. And I was looking online. There's fan art. There's all sorts of amazing stuff. And you see it in the crowd. You feel it on stage. What's it like to be at the center of all of that energy? To be in the middle of that?
It was a lot of pressure at first because people grow up. You know, they always say like, oh, you're the first person to play Percy Jackson. And I'm like, every single person who has read this book has made their Percy Jackson. So it almost feels like I'm like the millionth person to play Percy Jackson. And I just hope that it like somehow parallels what all these other people have created. So it was a lot of pressure at first because people grow up and they kind of protect their idea of these books and what they've made, and to give a team of people the power to put it on stage, and it's a big responsibility. But the switch that happened after we started performances and people like really were like, they're doing it right. They're keeping the heart of the books in there. It takes itself just enough, not seriously enough, to feel like it's truly what they fell in love with the books. So the support that came flowing in and has been happening ever since that has been awesome.
The two of you have been, because I know you just recently joined for this tour, right? So I'm going to get to your story in a second. But the two of you, like you said, you were the first. You both have originated your characters on stage, right? I'm not wrong in that. Yeah. Okay, so you talked a little bit about feeling that pressure. How did you navigate those waters of feeling that pressure but still wanting to make it your own? Like, how do you make a decision without getting in your own head of like, oh, but is everybody going to take this decision? What's everybody going to do when they see this? Is this what their Percy would do? Like,
you just have to like ignore it. There's like no other option when you're in that zone than to just be like, I know that if I follow my instinct and heart approaching this material authentically as possible, that it'll all work out. But if you get in the mode of like feeling that pressure or trying to be what you think people want you to be with this part.
Yeah, and I think we both have a lot of trust in Joe Trace, who wrote the book, Rob Rukiki, who did all the music. And, you know, we've done our own research of the original source material, which is the books, and that has so much in it. And then just trusting our writers to bring that essence into the script, and then what any actor should do, which is like, okay, what's on the page, what's happening right now, and then filling it with our ness, with the thing that like Chris and I already have, and trust that like, okay, that's why we were cast, and we would do the same thing in this situation, and so that's what makes it complete.
And I think people appreciate that on stage. The show has like a smallness to it. Like there's a comfort level on stage, and the relationships built on stage, they feel small and normal, even in their abnormal environments. And I don't think we could have created that if we felt 100% all the pressure that was being put on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's absolutely an intimacy that you feel in watching this show. So Javier, here we are now. You land this role, same deal. You're going through all the same stuff. You've got to carry all this baggage, all these fans, all these different things. Do you remember getting the call? Do you remember the moment that you were going to be in the show?
I do. I was a massive fan of the book, so I am part of the fandom. It's how I got through middle school. You know, kind of identifying with these outcasts, with these people who aren't normal. It's how I found myself and how to really relish the things that made me special, right? And so for me, when I first got the appointment, my agent sent me the email and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this series. I know everything about it. I'm like, fierce work. And so kind of, for me, it was more so dealing with the fact of how much I wanted it. I had to go into the room and just kind of like, you know, take it as another audition and not like my childhood dream. I was going in for another job as opposed to like, this is your Harry Potter. You know what I mean? And so for me, when I got the call, I started crying immediately.
This is why he's Grover. He's emotional,
I'm
you guys.
emotional.
He feels
always.
everything.
Everything makes me cry. I'm such a little like crybaby, but yeah, it's been wonderful. And I was already a massive fan of the books. I had heard the music when it first came out. I listened to the album. I had the album. I was ready for it, and it was scary at first because, you know, we all know who played Grover before me, and I had massive hooves to fill, but he's been really lovely. George has been really kind to me and very sweet to me, and I couldn't have asked for a better family, you know?
So day one, you walk in, you've got it now, here you are, you're singing, do they hand you the hooves right away? Do you got to build up to the hooves? How did you...
Actually, it was, I think it was the first week when we had the people who had various props or various costume pieces that might hinder the way they move on stage or anything like that. They had like kind of a prototype to see how it would work, to see what would happen. And the first time I had tried the goat leg puppets, I broke it. Yeah, because they didn't.
Doing what?
Well, okay, so I'm on the floor for a campfire scene, right? And I couldn't exactly get up from the floor because at first they didn't have the elastic on the knees. It was like a rotating mechanism of some sort. And so I tried to go up and I just hear this like, and I was like, hold, something's wrong. And so they made some adjustments and now it's just all elastic so I can bend my leg. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, it was a surreal moment the first time I really did the entire run through of the show with my goat legs.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's one of those things.
Yeah, there's the sentence I never thought I'd have to say.
You're living your best life right now.
Exactly, yes.
You got a lot of goat leg sentences, and they're all awesome.
Absolutely.
But yeah, when you first see them on stage, like as an audience member, you spend like maybe half a second going, "How do those work?" And then you just accept that you have goat legs. Like they're kind
That's
of
great.
Like,
That's
oh, those are his legs.
success.
You know, another thing, just speaking about just visual elements of the show and sort of first impressions of them, there are so many killer and creative uses of lighting and the way in which movement is simulated, and we really like get to go on that quest with you guys. Do you remember the first time it all came together and you saw it? We were talking about the leaf blowers during the break. We'll get to that, but just like in general, how when you're in the train and the lights are going, all these different little flourishes. What was that like the first time it all kind of clicked and sort of coalesced for you?
Theater is the weirdest thing because so much is happening and the experience on stage is completely different. So we never, all those lights behind us, all we see is just like this like light happen. And then when you zoom out, you realize it's like, you know, like lights on the highway, like flashing past us when we're in the bus. So the first time like we ever experienced that probably was like trying to sneak out into the audience to catch glimpses of tech. But on stage, it's all that zoom out effects we never see. So like, it's weird. It's like you love doing theater. And so when you're in it, you lose half the magic that's being done. And so you just kind of like trust, and that's what's so fun when people you love come see the show. You're like, okay, what does it look like there? Like, when my shoes start flying, like, is that working? Is that like fun? there? Because we have no idea. Like, I just look like I'm shaking my foot to me, and they're like, it looks like your shoes are flying.
We all believed that shoes could fly. Yes. So then to that end, since you don't really get to see the big picture because you're making it, you're in it, you're part of the picture. Do you as an actor, like, does it almost become distracting? Like, because some of those lights are right in your face. And you have to put those things.
Oh, yeah. No, well, we talk about this all the time. At the end of my song in Act 2, Grand Plan, I have like the spotlight. I'm literally staring into it. I'm like, this is Athena. You are the spotlight. I'm like singing my face off. And then I have to like look at Chris, and I honestly, I don't even see him. It's just dots.
Her pupils are
So
just.
true.
I'm like, I don't even know what I look like to you right now because I'm like this. That's how I feel on the inside, but I'm like, I'm very seriously looking in the direction of where Chris is. And then I'm looking back and I'm adjusting.
Yeah, it's definitely like an art form. How to like stay human on stage when you were just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It is a very surreal moment within which to find yourself. So, you've got to really extend those muscles as an actor to kind of plant yourself in that moment and get lost in it.
Yeah.
Especially when they're shining a
Especially with this
trillion-watt
show.
light in your eyes.
Because they tried really hard to the lighting effects used in this show. We use a lot of like rock concert effects.
That was the thing.
We use like lighting effects to like blind the audience at certain times, and we have a ton of mover lights. So it's not your average scenic light design of a show. They really wanted it to feel different stylistically, and that includes us on stage. If we look a little wrong, there's a side light that's just blasting you.
Yeah, and we have a unit set, like it doesn't change, and so I think that's kind of the genius of the lighting is that it like a movie, it fades you to where you should be looking, and now we're irising up into this other section, and now we have these twinkle lights going on because those are flames in the underworld, and it's like it's the set change that we don't have.
Yeah.
And what's really cool too is that we kind of, on the other side of things, we learn how to use darkness as our friend. So there are moments in the show in which we need a sip of water, or I pop a Ricola to kind of wet my mouth a little bit. And we find the moments in the show in which we can kind of hide in the darkness and get what we need as actors, as people, so that we can, perform our songs and sing our songs and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool because you think that you're visible, and then you kind of take a step back and it's like in complete darkness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other thing that I'm always fascinated by whenever I get the opportunity to interview actors that are going to be touring and taking like their full show on the road. You guys, you were already in Canada. You've come down to New York, right? And now we embark on the rest of North America here. Is it so far? Has it proved challenging to like have to recalibrate like your spatial awareness as you take everything from town to town, city to city, space to space, and like remap your blocking and all of that, or has it been kind of so far just like clicking into place?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like the first show is like a recalibration of like, okay, what's the house? What can we actually hear back from the audience? Sometimes you can't hear back. The backstage show is so intense. That's kind of always the biggest variable, how much space you have in the wings and stuff. But I kind of feel like what's weird is like the set, this is a weird analogy, but it works for me. The set feels like my spaceship, and the spaceship is like flying to different theaters, and it's like inside the spaceship, it's the same show. And then I'll look out, I'm like, oh, and now I'm in this country. Okay, cool. But everything on our literal carpet is the same. Like when we look at each other, all of a sudden you just like click in.
How Doctor Who of you? That was very. Yeah.
And they try really hard. Like the set and the stage is completely we built our set for the smallest theater that we're in and pop it in. So as soon as I take a foot onto the actual stage, it is exactly the same, because all those like micro adjustments, like they're like, oh, we're gonna,
Yeah.
it's not like Microsoft Word. You can't just like resize your word art.
Yeah, exactly.
It would mess up the entire
There's no
show.
click and drag.
So it's
with Chris McCarrell.
completely just pick up, drop into a theater, and that is always the same, and we can trust it.
One of the other takeaways from last night, and just in interacting with the three of you now, like backstage and here, is just the chemistry between the three of you, and how much fun the three of you are to kind of hang out and talk to. With Javier being new to the family, did that take time for you guys to find? Did it click right away? How did that chemistry grow?
Oh, no,
Well,
that's a
I was
dangerous
secretly.
question.
Yeah, Chris was secretly undercover.
Let's go.
I was
This is it.
secretly, well, not too secretly, but I was in final auditions for all the replacements. I was the reader. So when you like did your scene, and people were so nervous and like blacking out, they didn't even like realize that like I was the actual like Percy that they would be with. And
That was me. He's talking about me.
as soon
Blacked out.
like as soon as Jorrel like walked into the room, I was like, I have to nail this for him. So like when we like did our audition scene, I was like extra fun and extra like playful with him, being like, this is the chemistry. Like we need him. Like
Yeah. I was
so
texting
I
Chris.
there, and when he walked out, everyone in the room was like, we have found him.
Yeah.
We have found him. And I was like, we have found him. So I was like already so excited for Jorrel to like come on tour. And when I found out that it was all, you know, all the phone calls were made and he walked into the audition or into the first rehearsal room, I'm like, I'm so excited that you are here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my experience was I walked in, I had my sides, and they were all out of order because I was going through them, and things were falling out of my hand, and I was like, oh no, I'm not getting this job. And I was just like, you know what, smile through it, it'll be fine, it'll be great. And I had no idea that Chris was Chris because I had like blacked out. At that point, I was just like,
Glasses fog up.
absolutely. It was
Yeah.
like that moment in a TV show where it just kind of zooms in and you see a tiny little light at the end of the tunnel. That's all I saw. So for me to hear that side of the table or that side of the story, it's been, yeah. It's, I mean, listen. Yeah.
I knew Chris was reading that day, and I was all like, Chris, who's doing good? What's happening? He's like, there's this one kid, he's like really funny, and he's just did a hair flip, and that's it. And I was like, great, get the hair flip guy, make it happen. Get me the hair flip guy. There it is. It's bleached.
There it is.
And like the best way, I mean, I try to like live this in my everyday life. Like the best way to like make relationships with people really quick is to like focus on a project together. You know what I mean? Like the worst way to get to know someone is to go to a bar and talk to them. You know, like do something together. So like, you know, we start rehearsal and all of a sudden it's like, okay, how should we make this work? And within 2 hours, you know more about each other and vibe together and have more of a mutual relationship and respect than you would small talking for days. So I think theater's really great at bringing people together and forming fun relationships that is full of trust and making sure everyone feels comfortable to be themselves. So I think we carry that on stage and off stage, which is always helpful.
For sure. You lifted your mic. Did I interrupt you? No. Okay, cool.
Just a wrist adjustment.
Because I'm getting a signal. We've got 2 questions from Twitter, 2 from the audience. I want to get to all of our audience questions because as we've already established, this has an awesome fan base. So let's go ahead and engage with said fan base. The first question from Twitter is at Mulian. I like that. What's up, Mulian? She says, where do you want to perform the most? Anywhere in the world.
Oh, golly. Okay, well, I'm really excited to go to the West Coast. That's originally where I'm from. It's going to be super cool. I'm excited for Seattle and Portland, which are just like fun places to be. But we're going to San Jose, California, and that's around where I'm from. So that's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be like hometown, like, whoa! It's going to be great. So I'm excited for
That's
San Jose.
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm a massive foodie, so for me, this tour has been really lovely because I get to eat essentially around the country. But if I could perform anywhere in the world, obviously I'd want to go to Paris just because
Ooh, la, la.
Paris, I love bread. I really love bread.
I hear they're really good at bread over
and
there.
so I hear they're
Good
really great
bread.
at bread. So I mean, obviously, like Paris is going to be a destination that I would love to perform in.
What about you, Chris? Where do you want to get your bread
I mean,
from?
like, I've hit all my dreams, like, the New York. Like, you got to perform in New York. Nothing is like performing in New York. And we played the Kennedy Center, which, like, I truly felt like Obama was about to, like, walk in and be like, congrats, man. And, like...
Spot on Obama.
Yeah, I'm yeah.
He was working on it all backstage. Thank God you said that.
He was nervous
He
about
had it planned, and he was like, I'm going to do Obama, Kristin.
There it is.
Cover me if it doesn't go well.
I was transported. I thought it was here.
I'm a vessel. I want to take our show to an arena. I just want to like put it in an arena and see how we modify it. Like just put people around us.
That is a drag.
And then be like,
Click.
just make it work. I'm ready to do that next.
Oh, my God.
That is fantastic. We've got another one from Twitter. This is from at Kristin Stokes. What is your guys' favorite moment as a trio?
Ooh, that's hard.
All of them. That's such a cop-out answer, but I believe that.
No, you know what my favorite is?
Give it to me.
It's when, at the very end of the show, it's our final last like real trio moment after the quest is over, and we kind of do this really Hallmark film kind of like, well, what do we do now? And
That's
the
your
three of
favorite
us-
moment?
That's my favorite moment. It's such
That
a
makes
happy
me happy.
ending.
That makes me happy.
It's so sweet, and like Chris comes over, and then I put my arm through his arm, and then Kristen puts her
What a
arm
Grover
through- and
answer.
it's just like
What a-
it's such
What
a
am I talking about right
wholesome moment. So that's
Yeah.
mine.
There's one moment, it's like we go on this huge quest and it finally ends, and then there's just kind of like silence on stage, and it's like, so now what, you know?
Yeah.
And Stokes always goes like this to Grover and is like, make him feel special. And I'm like, Grover, as my official protector,
Yes.
you can officially escort us
Smile.
back to camp. We try to make him feel special.
Yeah, that's our job. I don't know. I don't know. Drive is so much fun. I love the moment in Bring on the Monsters when it's kind of like two Killer Quest when we're first kind of forming the trio for the first time, and we're like, oh, okay, this can be a thing. Interesting. And then we're like, thunder, lightning at the end. And then in Bring on the Monsters, it's like we've gone through the entire quest and we're like, yeah, we're doing it again and we're about to conquer the world. And it's like we're confident in that moment again. And so,
There's like 4 more books in the series, and then we're all gonna sit through it for the rest of the books. Amazing.
yeah.
We're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
No, go
You
on,
good?
go on.
Okay, fair enough. We are gonna go to the audience, but before we do, don't take this away because Haley, shout out for the killer name. It took me a second. Kristin Stokes. That's really clever. I think.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Totally.
heard you go what when I read it out.
I know. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, did I tweet my own
yourself?
question?
I
in?
thought for a
How
second that
funny
you
would
tweeted
that
us.
be?
That's what I
have
thought
a
was
question
happening.
for me from me.
I thought there was like a bit that I wasn't in the middle of,
No.
and then I realized, no, Haley, she's
Nope.
really funny.
And shout out for spelling my name right, Haley.
Good
Love
job,
you.
Haley. All right, there you go. I did that. We made
With
that
the
moment
I,
happen
not
for
the
you.
E.
I'm getting this. I got 2 in the room, so let's go ahead and get a question from in the room. Who's got the microphone? First one. Looks like you do. Go for it. Go ahead, stand up.
Hi, oh,
Come on, be part of the show. There we are.
Hi.
Nice shirt.
thank you very much. So where do you see this musical going after the tour concludes?
We have no idea, but
No
every
clue.
night I go to bed, and before I go to bed, I go, please let this show have an open-ended off-Broadway run in Midtown. That's what I want. Every single night. I just want to be off-Broadway in Midtown with the biggest, loudest crowds west of Broadway you can hear.
Yeah.
That's what my dream is.
It's a beautiful dream. You got to
Yeah,
put it out in
going
the
back
universe.
to New York. I mean, I think that's what it's all about. It just feels so good to be here. So the dream is to be here.
But we have no clue.
Honestly, we have no clue. That's a great question. We'll let you know later.
What's Jorrel? What's your dream?
I mean, obviously, I have the same dream as Chris in that I would love to perform this for as long as possible, specifically here in New York. But you know, it's not up to us. It's kind of like whatever happens will happen. But that's our hope and that's our dream, and we hope it happens. You know,
Poseidon, Zeus, Hades. Do you hear us?
it's like
Thank
hello.
Pray to all the gods. We got one more, so let's do one more question right behind you. Go ahead.
Hi, I read all 5 of the books and I love all of them, and I've seen you guys have 2 because you had to like research. And I wanted to know, what is you guys' favorite book and why?
Oh my gosh. I think it changes. Like I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Sea of Monsters just because it really echoes like the Odyssey, and we get to go on this like sea adventure, and it's like you get to build the relationship of Percy and Annabeth, and I love going to the islands, but I don't know. I reread them all the second process, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's book 3, and then I was like, oh no, maybe it's book 4. So not to sound like a total dweeb, but like I like them all.
I mean, I love Battle of the Labyrinth because that's kind of like when the action really picks up, right? But there is one moment in The Last Olympian that has always stuck with me during like their final battle.
Are you about to do a spoiler?
No, hold on. I was leaving out details. Final battle, of course there's
Okay.
a final battle, but essentially,
How dare you?
essentially something happens in which a certain thing happens, and it really stuck with me. So, you're welcome.
So for the record,
Sorry, I took that away from you.
your favorite is when the certain thing happened
at the end
of the other
the
thing.
last novel in which something happens.
With
Yes.
2 people, one
man
person.
of
Where are
mystery.
they?
Well,
Can you use code
You're
names?
gonna have to like read the book to
Okay,
find
read
out,
the
I
book to
guess.
see if you
No,
can
but
piece
Battle of the
together what he's
Labyrinth is
saying.
definitely my favorite book. But that moment, which if you've read the books, you know what moment I'm talking
Oh wait,
about.
in Battle of the Labyrinth.
No, Battle of the Labyrinth's the 4th, but then the Last Olympian.
No,
thing-
that's
the
what I
thing-
thought. You're talking about the very. Okay, we'll
the
talk.
last,
So
got
a
it.
See us
Thank you
after.
so much.
interview
Come on,
will
I
be
talk.
these
People-
two discussing the details of their favorite.
People at
Come to our
Netflix and
YouTube
Marvel are like,
channel.
hire them. They reveal nothing. Like right now.
It's been out for like a decade
said
and a
no.
half.
I know. That's how
You
I
had
feel.
time.
Oh my god, that's how I feel about Harry Potter. I haven't read any of them, and I'm like, don't tell me who Voldemort is.
It's been around for 2
Because that's a
decades.
character, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
pretty
know.
sure it's a character.
Okay, good.
And the most exciting part for me was just figuring out this. I think the best book series are ones that when you enter the world of, you're like, this could actually be true.
Yeah.
And it's like so integrated into our normal life. So just like the first time I read the first book, it was just like, I've never looked at the Empire State Building the same. And anytime I see a kid who just can't like sit still while they're in the audience, I'm like, that is their battlefield reflexes. Like, I just love
Yes.
that like first book like truly just like rewired my brain and like how to take in some aspects of the world. So I think being like introduced into that entire universe and this idea that there's just these half-bloods walking around amongst us. That was my favorite part.
No doubt. That was wonderful from all three of you. Hey, great questions, audience. Thank you so much for that. And great questions, internet people from Twitter that sent questions as well. God, do I sound like an old man? Thank you for internet people of Twitter. That's
All you interneters
those are words I
on
just
the
said.
World Wide Web. Is that what it's called?
We've got, yeah, I believe so. You got to get that
Okay.
www
The
in there.
www.
Speaking of websites with the www, head yourself on over to lightningthiefmusical.com. Lightningthiefmusical.com. Get tickets. If you had fun watching this, you're going to have 1,000 times more fun watching the show. I'm telling you right now. These guys are incredible. They do an amazing job. You don't need me to tell you that. Go get your tickets. They're coming to your city. They're going all over the country. I want to thank you again. I got to let you get out of here. You got a show tonight, don't you?
Tonight.
You gotta go to
What
Fight
are you
Hall.
doing here?
I don't know.
Gotta go.
I have to go battle some people.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. You work ridiculously hard. You are wonderful. You bring great joy to many people. Everybody make a ridiculous amount of noise. Join me in thanking them.
Thank you.
Jorrel Javier, Kristin Stokes, and Chris McCarrell right here. Thank you so much, guys.